I just finished the first season of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and I was left wanting so much more. In a good way. A really good way. This show, to me, proves that fantasy doesn't have to always be about high stakes, magic, and dragons. Small, self-contained stories can pack a punch, if they're written well and the characters are good. Don't worry, no big spoilers ahead. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms follows Ser Duncan the Tall, a hedge knight who wants to make a name for himself. And you learn quickly why. It's because Dunk isn't actually a knight. The knight he was a squire to died before ever knighting Dunk himself. In Dunk's eyes, he wonders if his master, Ser Arlen of Pennytree, ever saw him as a true knight, or if he was always meant to be a squire. And when Ser Arlen passes, and again this is no spoilers, this is all in the opening of episode 1. When Ser Arlen of Pennytree passes, Dunk takes it upon himself to step into the shoes of a knight and names himself Ser Duncan the Tall. The funny thing about becoming a knight is there's no real paperwork involved. It's all based on an honor system that many can exploit. I haven't read the books yet, so I wonder if this scenario comes into play more in later seasons or in the books. Dunk, now Ser Duncan the Tall, travels the Seven Kingdoms and meets a young boy named Egg, who insists on becoming Dunk's squire. Duncan reluctantly accepts, and the two travel to Ashford Meadow in the Reach, where a major tourney is being held. Dunk wants to enter this tourney and earn his stripes, but along the way he gets caught up in a fight with one of the Targaryens, who at this point in the Game of Thrones timeline are the royal lineage of the Seven Kingdoms. Duncan gets into a bit of trouble for sticking up for a puppeteer after seeing the Targaryen prince break her finger, and as you can imagine, that didn't go over very well. So now Dunk must prove his honor in combat, and if he wins, it'll be seen as the gods giving favor upon him, which would exonerate him of his crimes. And so far, that's honestly the story. No major political strategy, no dragons, no magic, just a guy trying to prove to himself that he has what it takes to be the man he thinks he is. It's well written, well paced, and incredibly relatable to everyone who feels like they walk around with imposter syndrome. When I was watching this show, I started by comparing it to Game of Thrones, because why wouldn't I? It's a prequel to that show. But at times I just couldn't. These felt like two very different shows set in the same world. And I'll go ahead and say it. I think this small self-contained story is better than the bloat we got in Game of Thrones. As a story, I think right now Game of Thrones is probably better. But as a show, I think A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms works better, at least for me. I think over the years we've gotten too comfortable with 1 to 2 hour long TV episodes, and sometimes the story can really benefit from that, but other times it feels like you're watching a 2-hour episode of filler that does nothing to move the story forward. It's just padding out time and can feel like a waste. What A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms really has going for it, better than Game of Thrones, is its pacing. We're not sitting through 6 to 8, 1 to 2 hour long episodes of this guy Dunk trying to make a decision. Each episode is around 30 minutes long, and in season 1 there's only 6 episodes. That means every minute of each episode has to progress the story. And we still get good character moments with both Dunk and Egg. I think because we're just focusing on a hedge knight and his squire, we don't really have to participate in the political drama of Westeros. And while that political intrigue can be fun, getting to know the everyday people in that world can sometimes be much more enjoyable because we're everyday people. Most of us anyway. And I know it sounds like I'm being really harsh on Game of Thrones. I don't mean to be. I think Game of Thrones is great. I'm reading the books right now. I've watched the TV show. I just think sometimes it can overstay its welcome, especially with episodes in season 1. But of course that is just my opinion. But I do want to move away from comparing the two shows because like I said earlier, they really are kind of different. I want to focus on Dunk as the main character. I think in this season they did a really good job of making his character shine and allowing him to resonate with a lot of people. Dunk is a man of honor, which is funny because as I said earlier, he's lying about being a real knight. But as you get to know him and learn who he is as a person, you realize he's more of a knight than most other knights who boast and battle for glory. And Dunk's not perfect, he's no snob. He'll still have a drink, he'll still take advantage of a free meal, and he'll speak his mind. But it's the way he does these things that really makes him stand out. He'll drink and eat when it's offered to him. He'll speak his mind even in the presence of royalty when others are mistreated. I think he's a person many should aspire to be. Dunk feels like the representation of someone who stands up for those being taken advantage of, even if he doesn't have the authority to. While he respects the law and doesn't mean to cause any issues, when he sees the call to action, he answers, not because he wants the glory, but because he feels like he has to. He's not thinking about the trouble he'll be in when it's all done, he's thinking about helping someone in need no matter the cost. In his opinion, that's what a true knight is. And that's who Dunk is, and I respect the hell out of him for it. When it comes to the character of Egg, I haven't really formed an opinion of him. I can't get into his character much without spoiling a major plot point of the show, but I think overall Egg is fine. He offers an interesting dynamic to Dunk's life, and I think after his actions in the last episode of Season 1, Dunk himself has an interesting future ahead of him. Let's just say more trials are coming their way. But that's all I got today. I know I'm late to the party here, but I do think A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is a great show worth checking out. And what are your thoughts on the show? Have you read the novellas? If so, how does the show compare to the books? Comment below and let's talk about it. Later.